What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's going on, people? Happy Wednesday. Wednesday, July 1st. New month here. Wow. It is this is strange. This is new. This is different. But for those of you who are tuning in and those of you who are just getting ready to tune in, welcome to the Fueled by Generosity podcast. This is Rich, obviously. My name is Rich. Rich with Generosity Global, founder and CEO of Generosity Global, Chief Impact Officer, Chief Generosity Officer for Generosity Global. I want to welcome you all to the Fuel by Generosity podcast and show, because we're going to be doing it live as well as basically chopping up everything and put it in a podcast version so you can consume at a later time. But nonetheless, I want to thank you all so much for joining us on this amazing journey that we've been on. And as we closed last year and coming into this year, I felt like the time was right for us to really broadcast our message, our brand, our mission to a lot of people. I get a lot of questions like, what do you guys do? And it's amazing what you all are doing, both here in Baltimore and in Africa. And we want to find out more. We want to learn more about what you do and how we can connect and how we can plug into your show, not your show, but your organization. So I was like, you know what? If I'm not already busy, it's not like I'm not busy enough, but why not add one more thing to my plate? And so I started thinking like the best way to do this without adding much or going too far away from what we normally do is, how about go live, be on a podcast, have content that people can always go back, rewind, listen to, and understand what it is that we do as an organization and where we need help with, areas that we need help with, where our pain points are as an organization as we continue to build an amazing brand, and how you can help. But then I was also thinking about basically, the thing about doing good is not an isolated thing. It's not something in a vacuum. No one achieves greatness alone. No one changes the world by themselves. And, so my thought process was like, it'll be cool. It'll be amazing to not only talk about the Generosity Global story, not only talk about the Generosity Global brand, but also it'll be amazing to share the work of what other people are doing around the world, like the amazing work that people are doing. Like I have a few people that are going to be interviewed, quite a few guests that I'm going to bring over the next few weeks, over the next few months, just to share their story, just to share, the work that they are doing, that I believe that, some of you, that are listening may be connected to. I'm always under the belief that, maybe everybody is not as passionate about, providing clean drinking water as I am, or as passionate about, homelessness as I am. And that's okay. We're not always going to have the same, things that we like or that we connect to, and same causes. But I believe that there's something that, we all can connect to. And once you find that cause that you're connected to, once you find that once you find that mission that you are connected to, I always encourage people to just deploy yourself 150% behind that cause. Go all in, be part of the solution, invest yourself, invest your time, get connected with the founders, get connected with the leadership, and see how you yourself can be part of the change that is happening. So we're not only going to talk about what Generosity Global is doing, both here in America as well as in Africa, but we're also going to talk about what Generosity Global is doing with the work that we're doing over in Africa. So overall, I'm excited about this podcast. I'm excited about this show. I'm excited about connecting with people, connecting with those of you who follow me, some of my friends, some of my colleagues in the nonprofit space. It's amazing what technology has allowed us to do now, where we can do this show live. We can do this show, record ourselves, and don't worry about second takes, because at the end of the day, when you're doing something, you're gonna mess up. I understand that I am gonna mess up every now and then, and if it's live, it's live. You're gonna hear it. You're gonna basically be part of the cleanup process, right? So, guys, it's going to be amazing. But for today's show, for me, it's today's show is just really about welcome. Once again, welcoming everybody to the Generosity Global Village, and just basically go back from the beginning, when we started this thing and where we are right now, all that we've been able to do, where we're trying to get to, connect you to the resources that, or the things that we are currently doing, and the resources that it's going to take to be part of that. And so, at the end of the day, it's going to be amazing. It's going to be amazing. I'm just trying to work this thing so I can see your comments as they come in. Let's see. First time on this thing, so I'm not really good. Banners, comments. Yep, comments right there. Right. Stream live. We don't want your stuff on it. All right. So it's going to be, so the way I'm going to format this show, is going to be roughly about 30 minutes to about 45 minutes. Not too long, not going to take too much of your time, but really more so for us to have a conversation, for us to chat. If you have a question, feel free to go ahead and pose your questions. Feel free to go ahead and comment. Feel free to go ahead and, seek any knowledge that you may need in terms of answering, getting questions answered. And then over the coming weeks, I'm going to have some people around the country that I've been watching, that I've connected to on a personal level, that, I've seen what they've been doing. Some amazing, amazing work. And, what I like the most about this is, we are all regular people, right? Just average, regular people, everyday people, but, people that are waking up every day to want to do something to change the world, to make the world a better place, to improve the human condition, or maybe it may be, climate change, or whatever the case may be, something that they are leveraging the power of a generous heart, a generous spirit to do good. And when we came up with this title about Fueled by Generosity, it really connects to the magic that we see, for Generosity Global. It has been for many years with our organization. I tell our supporters, our donors, our village, just about everybody that comes across our brand, remind them that, nothing that we do, and, everything that we do has been propelled by generosity, right? It takes a generous spirit for those people who are, people who are supporting us, who are noticing the work that we are doing. It takes a spirit of generosity to not only invest in our organization, in Generosity Global, but it also takes us a generous spirit to continue to invest over and over and over. So as we came up with the title for the podcast, it was befitting. It was, for me, how cool was it that everything that we do as an organization, everything that we do as a brand, is really fueled by people just like you. It's fueled by your generosity. It's fueled by every donation that comes in, no matter how big it is, no matter how small it is. All those donations come in, and when we put it all together, it fuels us to be able to do amazing things, around the world. And for the past 10 years, gosh, it's been, we're looking at a 10-year anniversary this December. But for the past 10 years, everything that we have done has only been through your blessing, through your support, through your generosity. And I really believe in the power of generosity. I really believe in the power of people being generous. And that's a term that's relative to a lot of people. But one thing that um, the power that is inherent in that word, allows for change to happen. And we have seen it. I have witnessed it firsthand that even in my personal life, where somebody has been generous to me, and as a business owner, or as a father, or as a husband, I have seen how somebody else's generosity has allowed me to get through something. I have seen how within Generosity Global itself, through people donating and people supporting and people sharing and people tagging others, and inviting other people to our village, we have seen how little donations have, become great impact. So, and then when I look at what others are doing, it can only be about the spirit of generosity, because they are taking their time, they're taking their money, they're taking their resources, they're bringing people from other places and using that same spirit, same power, same vibe, generosity, to do good in their local communities as well as around the world. And it's so cool, man. It's cool to be able to see how people, no matter where they come from, no matter where they are, no matter um, what they choose to do, we all can bond under this one word, generosity. Be as generous as you can whenever you can. Guess what? You can always be generous, right? And it's not only about money, it's about, your time, your love, your giving, your support of others, your investment in others, sharing your resources, sharing your wisdom, whatever it is, opening doors for somebody that you see that is doing something amazing, that they may not never have access to a particular place, but because of the power of generosity, the power of love, we are able to open those doors. And so, for those of you who don't know me, for those of you who may be joining me for the first time, once again, my name is Rich. I am the founder and the Chief Generosity Officer for Generosity Global. And the history of Generosity Global basically started about 10 years ago. My wife and I, Erica, we were basically a night before Christmas Eve in 2010. Yes, Christmas Eve 2010, that night. I want to say it was a third Friday night, I believe, because Christmas was on Saturday. We had an opportunity to go into Baltimore City with items we had collected to give away to the homeless. And within 20 minutes, everything that we collected, some food, some clothing, some gloves and underwear, everything was gone within 20 minutes. And we had many more people that were standing in line and waiting for stuff, and we had nothing left to give them. And so we made a conscious decision to come back the next day, not the next day, but the next month. And that was the genesis. That was the start. That was the birth of Generosity Global. And ever since that fateful night, ever since that first night that we went out to serve the homeless, we have had, consecutive months of serving and giving food, and it has grown now to what that particular movement has grown out to what a lot of you know as Selfless Saturday. And basically, Selfless Saturday was birthed from that night, and we came back the following month and did the same thing, and just the two of us, and kept repeating over and over and over. And then I think about month number 4, our 4th month, we had some friends join us. We went from 2 people to about 6 people. That was so cool. Like, we were doing something, and then friends were like, "Oh, let's join you." And they came out. We had a great time. We had one single table. For those of you who have been out to Selfless Saturday, you know how big big that event itself has gotten. And Selfless Saturday is cool. But we had just one single table serving food. But today, Selfless Saturday, we usually have about maybe 20 6 food tables lined up and serving a lot of people. So it has grown, but that was the beginning. That was the birth of Generosity Global. For those of you who have followed us like since then, it wasn't always Generosity Global. It was a friend to the homeless, but over I think like year number 6, back in 2000, I believe 2016, we rebranded ourselves. We rebranded our name because we became just so much more than just serving the homeless in Baltimore City. At that time, we were making a pivot. We were making a shift into helping to solve the water crisis in Africa. And so we made that shift. We made that pivot, and we realized that it cannot just be homelessness, but it had to be something that was massive, that was global. And I saw it like clearly that this is going to be something great, something big, something impactful. And we just like, okay, started thinking about what name do we give this organization? And generally, I kept seeing, the power of generosity. And it's like, okay, Generosity is going to go global one day, right? It was just that initial phase of envisioning and dreaming and seeing like, wow, this is actually happening. Like we can actually go global. And that's how Generosity Global came to be. So we started out just serving the homeless in Baltimore. And then about year number 2 in 2015, that's when we added Africa to our mission. And basically the story behind Africa was me going to Cameroon and visiting in a hospital and witnessing a young girl who died from complications with diarrhea after she had consumed dirty, contaminated water. Normally, that's something that, in America is like, oh, that was it, but it's a big problem in Africa. So haven't seen that being out in Cameroon, and as I was flying back to the States, as I was flying back to America, I was doing more research about the water crisis, and that's when I really saw how big the crisis was and still is. Back 2005, you had about 1 billion people around the world who do not have access to clean water, but now I think because of the help of many organizations, including Generosity Global, that number now is, it's been chopped into, less than 600, maybe about 585 million people now, but that's still a lot of people. Think about it, 585 million people around the world do not have access to clean drinking water. So for us, it was a great opportunity. I still cannot get that little girl out of my mind, out of my head. But that was the inspiration behind why not build a brand that can address the water crisis and the issues that come along it. And so we, launched Generosity Global Africa, and to specifically focus on the water crisis. So it eventually became something where we had a brand that people can have impact locally. Like when I say local to America, local to Baltimore, local to Maryland, or if people wanted to get outside of America, specifically in Africa, we created a brand. We built a brand, we built a movement, we built a mission that would give people an opportunity to have a global impact. And my goodness, have we had an amazing time since we launched our water projects in Africa. It has not been without its challenges. I'll tell you that right now. It has not been without its challenges, but the most important things is that we have not given up yet. We are opening new doors. We are stepping into new territory. We are making new alliances, forming new partnerships. I'm gonna give you a second. I'm gonna give you all a shout out forming new alliances, and it is becoming it's becoming really big. But overall, it's great. It's great to be in a position that we are in right now, to be I would say a market leader in our space, being the first organization in Maryland to build a mobile shower truck for the homeless, and providing shower services with dignity. As we say, we not only deliver showers, but we also deliver happiness with our homeless brothers and sisters. And Generosity Shower, most of you know about Generosity Shower. We launched that last year, and it's been amazing. And we just started season 2 of Generosity Shower, and it's been great. So in totality, if you ask me, what do we do at Generosity Global? And my answer is always, well, now it's the fourth thing, but we always say we focus on 3 basic things, the basic things in life, right? We focus on providing clean water, and for the clean water focus, we focus specifically in sub-Saharan Africa, and we have been working tremendously in Cameroon, Africa, where I was born. And then we recently scaled our operations and expanded our operations into Kenya. And we'll talk about Kenya very soon. But, so we provide clean drinking water to people in need in sub-Saharan Africa. We provide food here in America through our Selfless Saturday event. And then we also provide clean shower services to people experiencing homelessness. 2 of those missions are focused on here in Baltimore, here in Maryland, here in America. And then the water mission is focused in Africa. As you all have seen lately, recently we have been working a lot. We've been working a lot in Kenya, and we had an amazing campaign. Let's see. Give me 1 second. Let's see. Take that, Jay-Z, local love and still bless. Paulette King. Yes, Jay-Z did some great things in Africa, I believe, with like the water crisis. Good day, Uncle Rich Rice. A good day to you. Tina, high five to you. Paulette, again, and George, our boss in Africa, thank you, sir, for all that you do in Cameroon and in Kenya. Thank you for holding down the ship. So just want to give you all shout out to everybody who was watching, to everybody who was tuned in. Thank you all for joining in, and thank you all for being part of this first broadcast, laying down the foundation of Generosity Global, the Fuel by Generosity podcast. And as I was saying, our missions are not only local, but also international. And locally, we focus on serving the homeless community, people who are experiencing homelessness. And then also in Africa, we focus primarily on providing access to clean drinking water. But, when we say providing access to clean drinking water, and when we go into villages, there are so many other things that come in that package. Water is the door that opens us up to be able to address other issues. And as an organization, as a brand, and as a service provider or solution provider, we realize that we cannot spread ourselves too thin. We cannot be everything to everybody, right? We cannot solve every single problem in this world. We cannot solve every single problem that people may be facing. And thus that's the reason why part of this show is going to be me interviewing people that may be doing something that is in parallel to what we are doing. It may be somebody who was doing something in education. When we are in Africa and when we go into a village and we drill a well, sometimes we have some massive educational needs where some communities may need schools, and our funding is really directed to what our core mission is, right? So if we're drilling wells, we're going to focus on drilling those wells, but our goal is to be able to bring in vetted partners, trusted partners who are mission focused, who are focused on a particular mission, a particular cause, and we can join forces to impact a greater number of people. So Um, Part of the water projects, part of that, we also address things with women hygiene. And recently, last year, we launched Generosity Women, and my lovely wife, Erica, my beautiful spouse, who has been with me on this journey through thick and thin since the birth of Generosity Global. She is the senior director of our women initiatives, and I'm going to have her on as a guest one of these weeks, and she's going to share her vision with Generosity Women. But in a nutshell, Generosity Women is going to be really focused on women hygiene, women health, and women hygiene, especially when it deals with their menstrual cycle and their periods, and how to teach young girls to value themselves, how to teach young girls to take care of themselves during that cycle period. Teach them how to create, basically equip them with the resources, the tools, the knowledge, things that will help them better manage their monthly periods, as well as take away that shame, take away that stigma, take away that thing, that cultural thing of being shamed on as a young girl being on your period, and people looking at you as if you have three eyes or four eyes. But I'm really excited about being in that space where we can impact women, being in that space where we can touch the lives and teach women skills that they can own for the rest of their lives. How to make a handmade sanitary pad where they can wash it and reuse it, and month after month. But at the same time, girls that normally would be ashamed to go to school because they were on their periods, because they were in that time of the month, we want to address those issues so that way a young girl never has to miss class because maybe she had to walk all morning to go fetch water and is tired when she gets home and cannot go to school, or she is on a period, and because she is bleeding and they have no way to absorb the blood, and so it becomes a stain on her dress, and she gets laughed at, she gets ridiculed, she gets belittled, and those things leave an impression, those things leave an impact on the minds and the lives of people who are being affected. So we're going to be addressing that. And matter of fact, we have already started addressing those issues both in Cameroon and in Kenya, but we are really picking up speed and picking up steam in Kenya. And I'm excited about, what Generosity Global and Generosity Women is doing in Kenya. And, Erica's going to be with us one of these podcast shows, and be able to share with you all everything that we're doing and what we accomplish. And hopefully if I think Nancy may be watching, Nancy was Erica's I would say Erica's partner, or our general partner, but she's working hand in hand with Erica in Kenya to ensure that we can bring this vision to life. And so, so now we not only focus on women, on water, but so we are focused on women, water, women, hygiene, sanitation in Africa. And that in itself is a mouthful. It's a big operation, but overall, the impact itself is going to help us as a brand. We are always focused on building something that is sustainable, something that once we are away from a particular village, we have systems in place, we have models in place, we have basically an operation in place that can be replicated over and over and over. And because we focus a lot of our time and our resources on training people and equipping them with the tools and the resources that they need to do it themselves without us having to do it every single time, it helps us build a brand that can be sustained over time. So that way, when we invest money in a particular region, in a particular project, we know that we are investing in something good, and we are ensuring, basically buying insurance for the long-term success of that particular project. One of the things about water projects in Africa is there are a lot of failed projects. There are a lot of wells that once drilled, if not properly maintained, collapse, and people can't use it. So you spend roughly about $12,000 to $15,000 to drill a well, and within 1 year, the well collapses and it's non-functional and people can't use it. That's $15,000 that was wasted. Why does that happen? Well, it happened because those who implemented, those who brought, they meant good, right? They meant good, and they wanted to do something great. However, they did not think about the long term. How do we manage these things long term? And the truth of the matter is, and that's why you see us all the time asking for donations, soliciting donations. The truth of the matter is, it takes a lot of money to sustain things. It takes a lot of money to run an operation, to hire people, to maintain people on payroll, to get resources from one place to another, to, it takes money, so generosity is not free, right? It takes money, resources, people, all these things to make the magic as you see happen. Of recent, you all saw the campaign that we did for Kenya in response to COVID-19. And within 10 days, which was amazing, within 10 days, we had raised nearly $23,000. Woo, that was good. So $23,000, all directed to Kenya, and you all have seen the result. That was, focused on providing clean water, which we had to bring in water tanks that, were about 10,000 liters each for $150 per water tank. That's a lot. That's a very little amount for a lot of impact. One water tank could take care of 500 people, for provide enough water for 500 people to use for about 2 to 3 weeks, which is amazing. And then we also focused on providing food to people who are in need, desperate need of food in Kenya, in the slums of Kenya. And we also built hygiene, hand washing stations. And but behind that were 20 people who were part of the Generosity Global team, who were helping to make sure that the vision and the mission gets executed. And those people had been without a salary for almost 2 months. So of the money that we raised, about $1,000, $1,200 was allocated to ensure that we can pay 20 of our team members, 20 of our volunteers, a salary that they can, feed their families, and ensure that, they don't go without food, they don't go hungry, they don't stay hungry. And, that's what we did. And I'm excited about, the future. I'm excited about what we're going to be doing in Kenya. I'm excited about our first water project in Kenya. It was actually supposed to be this August, but due to COVID, we had to shift our plans. We had to change direction, but we are still very, very focused. We are still very, very serious about having our first water project in Kenya. Over the years, we've been working in Cameroon. We are still going to be working in Cameroon. For those of you all who have supported us with our projects in Cameroon, thank you all so much for helping us get this far, for helping us to basically prove ourselves, prove that we can actually do this, prove that we can actually drill. And the cool thing about Generosity Global is, like, you have been able to see all of the work that we do. You have been able to see the impact. You've been able to see the results. You've been able to witness it for yourselves, and it's been great. It's been cool, and so we are going to continue. We're going to continue to lean on you as supporters, as donors, as well wishers, as partners, to help us achieve bigger and more goals. Gosh, if you know me, you know that I am a big thinker. I dream big, and I believe that every goal that you set can be achieved if a few people get behind it and a few people support it. Anything that we want to accomplish this world, we can accomplish. So it's going to continue to be a nice journey. We are, as an organization, we are excited. We are pumped about what the future holds. COVID has definitely tested us, and we have proven ourselves to be resilient. And even in the midst of it all, we've been able to accomplish a lot. Accomplish a lot as an organization, and I'm very proud of our team, not only here in America, but also proud of our team in Africa. A lot of people may see me as the face of Generosity Global, but I would say this: there are some amazing, hardworking people who basically shy away from the spotlight, who work with me directly in the office, from the marketing standpoint, to the communications, to graphic design, to grants management. And then in Africa, we have George Tabby, who is the director of Africa operations, holding it down over there. So we have a good team, but we are always looking to add more people. And even in the midst of COVID, we are being aggressive. We are being aggressive with our vision. We are being aggressive with our direction. We are being aggressive with our mission, and believe that in due time, we're going to have all the pieces of the puzzle together. So, guys, I am more than excited about the journey that we're on. For those of you who have been part of Selfless Saturday, thank you all so much for being part of that. For those of you who have not, been to Selfless Saturday but always want to come out, we haven't stopped. We haven't skipped a bit. We have not missed a month. So the next one will be a week from this Saturday, July 11th. Come on out. 421 Falls Way. That's where we are. 421. That's Healthy for the Homeless. Come on out, be part of that. Be part of what we do over there, Selfless Saturday. For some of you, you want to come out and help us out with Generosity Shower. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, we provide services to people experiencing homelessness. Great shower experience for our homeless guests. But at the same time, great opportunity for you to come out and volunteer and connect with our brand, connect with our mission, connect with our impact, and be part of the great things that are happening within Generosity Global. And what else can I say? And obviously, with our operations in Africa, all that happens in Africa, we want to make sure that we are bringing it live and direct. We are broadcasting it, and you can see the impact for yourself. The one thing that I pride myself in, and one thing that we pride ourselves in as an organization, is our highest, I would say, one of our top core values as an organization is being a transparent organization. We want to be as transparent as possible, because I believe that through transparency, people can connect with us. People can see the good, people can see the bad. But most importantly, people can see their hard-earned dollars, hard-earned money being put to work, and they can see, and not only see, but they can feel the impact of generosity, of the investment. So I am excited about that. I am excited about bringing you stories from the field. I'm excited about interviewing some of our team members from the field. I'm excited about sharing with you the things that are happening within our organization. Good news, the things, my prayers one day I'm going to announce that somebody just donated $1 million to Generosity Global for us to buy a drilling rig for Africa, or somebody's going to help us build like 10 shower trucks here in America, in DC, Hagerstown, New Jersey, all around the country, so I stay optimistic. I'm very optimistic about, what is going to happen. But all those things happen because we have been focused on being transparent as an organization. We've been focused on being transparent as a group, as a team, and we want to make sure that our donors, our supporters, our partners always get generosity, raw. Always get it and see it when we're doing good. We want you to celebrate it when we are not doing good, when we are struggling. We want you to see it. And, if you're in a position where you can help us with some wisdom and knowledge, we will take it and we will use it and apply it into the field. And shout out to Danielle. Danielle is one on our team, and she's our grants manager, and she is currently looking for people that can join the team as volunteers who can help us, search grants that can help us continue to build Generosity Global. So if you are good in writing grants, if you are good in searching, Danielle can definitely benefit from that. So comment under her comment, or inbox me, and I'll make sure I connect you to Danielle. But guys, there are lots of opportunities where you can plug into Generosity Global as a volunteer. If you have a skill, if you have a talent, if you want to help in one way or another, one form or another, if you want to assist with things such as graphic design, if you want to assist in things such as communications, if you want to assist in things such as like searching for grants and different things, we can surely need you. Okay, we can need your help. We surely can use your help. We can surely benefit from whatever you can bring to the table. But all in all, I'm really excited about this platform. I'm really excited about this opportunity to speak to you all, connect with our supporters, connect with our donors, connect with our fans, connect with our well-wishers, connect with people who want to learn more about what we do, connect with people who are committed to making this world a better place, people who are committed to improving the human condition. I'm gonna again bring in some amazing guests, people just like you and I. And when I say regular people, no disrespect, because they are doing an amazing thing. But when I say regular people, it's just like we all wake up, we all pull our pants up the same way, and for those people, those are the people who are waking up and say, you know what, I can do so much more, and make the world a better place. Danielle says, we need connections and networks, not just code applications. Yes, we need connections. If you have connections to people, if you have connections to resources, if you have connections to like gatekeepers who can help us with grants and funding, we need that. So we definitely need the help. We definitely need the support. But I'm excited about the coming weeks. We're gonna pause next week, but my goal is to have a weekly show, a weekly podcast, a weekly event, where we will start not only talking about what Generosity Global is doing, but also bringing in some other people around the country, from around the country. Oh my God, I can't wait. I have a few names who are doing some great things to make the lives of people better, not only here in America, but also in Africa. I'm excited about that. I'm excited. I'm looking forward to just connecting with each and every one of you. I'm excited about being able to dialogue and especially in the time that we're in right now with everything that this country is going through and this world is going through. I think I believe that we all just need to come together as best as we can to address the issues that we are facing as a world. But when it speaks to being able to use the power of generosity to do good, that's what our mission is always going to be. We are always going to be fueled by generosity. We are always going to use the power of generosity to do good. We're always going to use the power of generosity to change lives of people here in America as well as in Africa. And we realize that none of that can be done without your support, without your help, without your donations, without you open up some doors for us. And for that, I say thank you. Truly grateful, truly appreciative of each and every one of you for all that you have done up to this point. We're going to lean on you more as fans, as supporters, as donors to help us get to that next level. And we're going to keep that promise of always being real, always being transparent, and always making sure that you can be part of the Generosity Global Village. So I want to honor time. So I'm not sure before I close out this podcast, I always want to leave a section for questions and answers, not only for myself, but when we have guests, we want to be able to get some questions from our viewers and have those questions answered live on air. And if I don't have the answers for you, I'll tell you I don't have the answers for you. But if I do have the answers for you, I will come back and make sure I can give you those answers. So I'll give it a minute. If we have any questions, if you have any questions, feel free to type it into the comment section, and I'll try to answer it right now. But if not, show number one. Wow, 45 minutes has gone by so fast. And I'm going to try to honor that time. It's going to be, like I said, it's going to be real short, real quick, 35 to 45 minutes, maybe an hour. It all depends how much time our guests, have. But with all that said, we always want to make sure that we are answering questions for our supporters. We are answering questions for our guests. Because this is a platform where we're going to learn. This is a platform where we're going to, grow together. I'm excited because it puts me in a place where I not only share what I know within the organization, but also an opportunity for me to learn. I have my books. I have books here that I'm taking notes when I have guests and when I have questions. I'm taking notes, and that gives me insight as to what to talk about and what topics to discuss, as well as what people are requesting of us. And at the end of the day, we want to make sure that all questions are answered as best as we can, and every voice is heard. So, guys, thank you all so much for joining me for this first podcast. This first live podcast is being recorded. It may not be perfect, but guess what? Nothing great is ever built with perfection, right? But I'm going to make sure, our team is going to make sure that this eventually becomes available on iTunes podcasts, Spotify, all those podcast outlets that you can go and digest and consume the Fueled by Generosity podcast. So without further ado, thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you all so much for being part of the Generosity Global family. I realize that there is a lag on this podcast, so I see some questions coming in. Tina says, so Tina's question is, will you be taking volunteers on your next mission trip? Tina, the answer to that is we want to always open up our trips to Africa to, a certain number of volunteers. We have a limited number of people that can come with us. And Tina, you have been part of those mission trips. I don't think we have perfected um, our trips to Africa now, from what you are used to, from what you experience, and all of that stuff. But I would say this: we always are looking to bring volunteers alongside with us. But there's an application process. There are certain criteria that volunteers, people who are interested to come to Africa with us, setting things, certain guidelines and certain applications that things that they would have to meet. And we will put that out there. And for those who are interested in traveling and those who are interested in being part of that experience, which is an amazing experience, every time in Africa, every time in a rural setting, it's always amazing. And so there will be that opportunity for people to travel with me, with our team, and be part of the action, not just be in a room somewhere. Like, no, we want you, when you're there, you're part of our planning meetings, you're part of our implementations, you're part of it all. So you're not just going to be in a room and we bring you back information later on. So that's the answer to that question. And shout out to Somia. Somia is part of Team Gigi, and all the amazing graphic work that you see, from flyers to the design on this page. Her and Kristen, who's not here on this show, but I'm sure some of you all know Kristen. They're the ones behind the scenes who we right now are working hard to create full-time employment for them within Generosity Global. And we're going to talk about how we are creating job opportunities for people to support their families within Generosity Global, not just here for our teams in America, but also for Africa. And it's, again, it takes a lot of money. It takes a lot of time. It takes people to be able to have impact. And we have been, one thing before I really end this show, we have ran this organization on one simple model, one simple concept, that we want to make sure that 100% of your donations that comes into Generosity Global, 100% of that goes directly to the mission that it was intended for. We don't take salaries from that donation. We don't take a penny, right? There may be fees, maybe a third-party fee that may be associated to that particular transaction, that particular donation. But in regards to our operations, in regards to our office, paying rents, hiring people, transportation, logistics, we do not take any money from your donation. So 100% of that donation goes directly to the field. And to help us pay for the other stuff, like the unsexy part, the staff, teams, personnel, storage, transportation, all of that stuff, we created a program which we call Fuel. And Fuel basically is our way to raise money to help us hire people who can help us achieve the greater mission, right? For the longest time, it was just me. For the longest time, it was just myself and Erica trying to do everything. I was the chief marketing officer. I was the chief, graphic designer. I was the financial officer. I was the, you name it. I have done all those things. I was the campaign, whatever it is, name it, I have done that. But as you grow an organization, you realize that you can't be everywhere every time. You can't do everything by yourself, and it takes a team. And I would, we would love to say people can work, do charity for free. But the reality is we live in a country, we live in a world where people have financial responsibilities. And I would not feel right if I have people working with me, people working for me, and they're not earning an income. And so my goal as a leader, my goal as the founder and CEO for Generosity Global is to make sure we have money in place to invest in people who are investing in the mission of Generosity Global. And so, yeah, that was a mouthful. But always remember, 100% model, 100% of everything you donate goes directly to our mission, and we fund. We help pay for office space and supplies separate from a separate account that has nothing to do with your donation. Private donors that come in and say we want to help you guys. It can be business owners. It can be grants that are geared specifically to scaling your organization. All those things. So those are part of the things that we're going to be talking about. How are we getting through? Where are we? How much help do we need? All of that stuff. And so we're able to talk about all of that stuff. All right. So guys, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to bring me to the end of the show. It's been an hour and it's been long. I feel like this has gone by really, really fast. Thank you all so much for being part of our first show, part of the first podcast. I should not have clapped because that's going to mess up the audio, but we'll see. Who knows? I'm going to make the mistakes. We're going to make the mistakes together. I'm going to learn as we go. This is show number 1. You better believe I'm going to re-listen to every single thing I said. And, if I said something in error, hopefully you will forgive me. But I'm excited about the next shows coming up. So let me look at the calendar. We're going to skip next week just because I have a conflict, which I had pre-booked before this. But then our next show is going to resume July 15th. And it will be between myself and somebody within Team GG. And then I believe, after that, we're going to start bringing some guests. We're going to mix it between myself, between Generosity Global, and then we're going to bring in some guests as well. So everyone, I want to wish you all a great day. I want to thank you all so much for tuning in. Wherever you are in this world, wherever you're tuning in from, please make sure you go back and you comment on this video. If you have any questions afterwards, please type it on this video, and I will make sure that I get back to you in answer. But so far, so good. I did not burn down the house. I'm excited about having you all as our guests. And I'm excited about connecting and dialoguing with you all over the next coming weeks, months, years, because we all collectively are doing some amazing work around the world. So thank you all. Thank you all for tuning into the show. We are powered by love, and we are fueled by generosity. And together, we are Generosity Global. Thank you all, and have a great day. Bye-bye.